It's Championship prediction time. It's game week 18 in the Championship. I'm Ollie K, and with me to give his really terrible predictions, it's my co-host. It's Mark Ryman. How are we getting on, Ryman?
I'm getting all right. I tell you, I did well last time, so I'll have none of that. Thank you very much.
Oh, did you? Did you really?
I notice when I do well because I usually do so badly. So yes, it was quite good. There was quite a few massive ones that I didn't do very well with, that involve people like Middlesbrough, but I'm sure we'll mention those. But apart from that, yeah, did pretty well.
Well, I got the Middlesbrough result really wrong. I got it half right.
You got it more wrong than me, yeah.
Yeah, I got it half right. You know, got half of it. But as always, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. We have lots of Championship content. But let's kick this off. It's Friday night under the lights. It's a big top of the table ding dong. It's Sheffield United versus Sunderland.
I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be. I've said this in my last pod. In our last pod, I'm always predicting Sheffield United to win 2-0 at home. Today is absolutely no exception to that whatsoever. Sunderland are drawing games at the moment. They are getting a few of their players back. A few of the Sunderland fans I noticed in the comments suggested that we didn't make mention of the fact they had lots of injuries, and I swear that we did say all of those things.
We got it wrong. Apparently, Sirkin was suspended, not injured, but Sirkin was missing, and apparently I made a boo-boo by saying the wrong player missed that chance. I'll just say that my stream dropped. That's all.
Yeah,
we'll do like that Sunderland fan.
Yeah, okay. But look, I think this is more about Sheffield United than it is about Sunderland. Sheffield United at home are a force to be reckoned with. They won their last game convincingly 3-0. For me, they win it. I've got 2-0 because it's my go-to at Bramall Lane, so I'm going to stick with it. Sheffield United 2, Sunderland 0.
Interesting. I flip-flopped between this one because I wanted to back Sunderland. I really did because I like Sunderland, but however, 5 draws on the spin now? So I did flip-flop. I went 1-0 Sunderland, and then I decided, and I was like, but you've got to back Sheffield United because they are really proficient. So I ended up going 2-1 Sheffield United. But that's not to diminish what Sunderland are doing, but they're still performing well. They're just coming up short just a little bit, but this goes back to what I was saying. Will they run out of steam? Regardless of what Sunderland fans say, they do have a young and inexperienced squad. I've looked at the squad. I know all the players. They have very good players, and yes, there are injuries. That happens to everyone. I really do back Sunderland, but I just can't back them for this game. So Sheffield United 2. Sunderland 1. Middlesbrough versus Hull, and this one could be interesting.
Yeah.
Lots
has changed, hasn't it, since our last podcast, since your 7-1 prediction.
I didn't think Borough were going to lose.
No, obviously neither did I.
Yeah.
Blackburn, absolutely fair play to you. Yeah, like you said, you got half it right. I don't think that's quite how you calculate it, but fine. Hull, obviously Hull losing games are fun, but they've just sacked Volta. It's taken a while, but they've done it. Will this make a difference in this game? No, I'm still backing Borough because, despite the loss in midweek, we talk about them being streaky. We know what they can do. I can't back Hull. Realistically, I mean, I think for me it's difficult to back a team that have lost 4 of their last 5 games. I think that's fair enough compared to a team that's won the last 3 out of 4 by 5 4s and 6s. So yeah, Borough I've got for this, but I think a conservative 2-0. So I've gone 2-0 at home again. Borough 2, Hull 0.
I've gone way more conservative than you. I've gone 1-0 Borough because I think the sequence has to reset to the beginning. So I do think that they might take a little bit of knock of confidence. It's a shame they didn't do the 7-1 because I think I would have been lauded as a genius if that had come off. Interestingly, with Hull, Slavisa Jokanovic is in the frame for that role. And I think he's a good manager at this level. Very good manager.
He's done good things, hasn't he? It's a bit of mixed fortunes, but it's the kind of team you'd imagine him doing well at. He'll have a budget as well in January, right? So Double
Yeah,
help.
he will. Yeah. So who knows? But I think Hull will be trying to impress the new boss. So I think it could be tighter. It really could be. Right, on to Oxford versus Millwall. I'll kick this off quickly. I've gone 1-0 Millwall.
Of course you have. So have I. Go on, you can do your justification and I'll just say ditto.
Well, it's just Millwall, isn't it?
There you go, ditto.
Yeah.
Done.
Like, I know they've had back-to-back draws, 1-1 against Stoke, 1-1 against Sunderland. I think this is where they get back onto the 1-0 train. Neil Harris masterclass incoming.
Yeah, I agree. And they're also playing a team bang out of form, aren't they? Yeah,
It's a shame.
It's a shame. We were lauding Oxford and their togetherness, but they've really started to slip. But having said that, they've played Watford at home, who are one of the best home teams in the league. They played Borough away, who absolutely smashed Luton in the game before, 5-1. And then they've just come up against a Sheffield United team at home, who I think could easily beat anybody in the league at home. So it's hard to tell, really, isn't it, that whether this is a bad run of form or they've just come up against some very good teams. So I mean, it could simply be that. Millwall don't ever score more than one, but they very rarely concede more than one either. So you're right. 1-0 Millwall for me as well.
Yep. And on to Watford versus QPR.
Yeah, a bit torn on this one.
Two of your favourite clubs.
As a neutral, but a Luton fan, I was looking at ways of them both losing, but unfortunately you can't predict that, which is a shame. I've gone for a 2-2 ding-dong. I reckon it's going to be exciting. Well, QPR obviously off the back of a very rare good result for them, and I say very rare. We all know how rare. I don't want to go into that one again. But Watford are at home, and Watford at home are very, very good, as I've mentioned previously. But QPR just won 2-0 away from home. Yeah, 2-2 for those reasons.
I've gone 2-0 Watford. I think Vacuum Bio gets a lot of flack, but I think he's all right. He's not so bad. And Georgie Chakfatadze, I've said that
That's
really
good
well.
work.
Nailed that name. Thank you. He's brilliant. If they can hold on to him for the second half of the season, I genuinely think they could have a shot at making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And Kwedu Bar as well. Tremendous signing from them. He's a kid. He's from Germany. He sort of looks like Adama Traore the way he plays. Like he's an ox and he just like charges through people. He's ridiculous. I don't know if you saw that disallowed goal against Man City in the cup.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
he's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's very good. They were fantastic.
They have a good front three. They have a very good front three, and they're playing at home as well, where their form is very good. So 2-0 Watford, unfortunately. I mean, bias aside, but yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's well aware of our biases by now, if they weren't aware.
We take all the Luton down. How would they know?
Well, yeah, I've got a little hint with the Kenilworth Road print there, just a little bit. But, mostly all the Luton down.
It's so subtle. Subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Right, down to Ewood Park now, up to Ewood Park. It's Blackburn Rovers versus Leeds United.
I thought your geography was going to come out again there, right? It's not a derby. Don't even ask. It's not a derby.
But they're both up north.
They're both up north, but one's in Yorkshire and one's in Lancashire. And if you confuse the two to anyone from either of those places, you will get hurt. But yeah, Blackburn, really good result in their last game. Leeds just look unstoppable at the moment. I've gone 2-1 Leeds, though, because I think it will be tighter than Leeds' last game against Luton, who showed absolutely nothing at Elland Road. So that's fair play to Leeds. They were excellent, but as excellent as Leeds were, Luton were also awful. Blackburn keeping Borough to 0 has to be absolutely applauded, right? But I just can't bet against Leeds at the moment. So 2-1 Leeds.
Yeah, snap. I've gone the same. 2-1 Leeds. I think Blackburn will put up much more of a fight than Luton. Luton didn't put up a fight.
Not difficult.
At all. No, exactly. And as you said, like Blackburn kept Borough to 0. So, they could, if there's going to be a shock, I'm not going to make this my lock of the week because I think Blackburn could shock Leeds. genuinely. If they keep playing disciplined, their manager's doing such a good job. What a manager! Yeah, one that probably he's making a name as one of the best in the division right now. Can't believe Birmingham got rid of him.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but
yeah,
it was a bit funny from an outside point of view.
I know, it's funny,
Sorry.
but at the same time, he's showing John Eustace is showing what he can do and what a manager he is. Who knows? But yeah, Leeds 2, Blackburn 1. On to Bristol City versus Plymouth. This one must be a derby. They both have they're both water adjacent. It's the water adjacent derby. I got Bristol City 1, Plymouth 0.
I thought you were going to say they're both in the southwest, which would at least be slightly better. I mean,
they're still 4 hours away from each other.
Yeah, they're bloody miles away from each other. Yeah, I mean, still wrong, but I've gone Bristol City 2-0. Plymouth are the highest goal conceding team in the league. They're closely followed by Luton, but Plymouth are still winning that race. Well done, top of the league for something. Bristol City, I think, they've got far too much for Plymouth, I think, at home. But you never know. You might get a reaction after that, the trouncing that they received over last weekend, of course. During the week against Norwich. But yeah, I don't see this being the game to recover from it.
No, I don't see it either, but I do think it'll be tighter because you don't really know what Bristol City are going to turn up. They've always been very tight games, haven't they? Looking at their last couple, 2-0 against Norwich, 1-0 lost to Burnley, 1-0 lost to Watford. So, they're always tight games. I think I think Plymouth will keep it as tight as possible. They had 2 good draws and then, the trouncing, but we won't talk about that. Right, on to Frank Lampard's Coventry City versus Cardiff. Oh, I'm so excited. Finally, we have another superstar manager.
Yeah, well, a superstar player. Let's not put manager next to the word superstar and Frank Lampard, please.
The internet is going to break when Wayne Rooney's Plymouth play Frank Lampard's Coventry. It will just be... the internet will grind to a halt.
God, yeah. Imagine if we had Wrexham and Birmingham in the division next season as well. It's just... Let's get a Disney subscription out now just for those games. Who knows? Without being silly, who knows what's going to happen in this game? I've gone for Cov, I've gone for a 3-0 win because Cardiff are doing very poorly, and I think there will be a new manager bounce. I'm yet to be convinced by Frank Lampard as a manager, and that is being quite conservative. But maybe he just didn't find his right club. Some of my in-laws are Derby fans. They're not over enamoured with him. Chelsea fans, you can't really ask them, to be honest, without getting a fair reflection, because of course he's such a legend for them as a player, so that sort of blurs that, and he did really well with him on that season with the transfer embargo, but other than that, I'm not convinced, and he's certainly for me not an upgrade on Mark Robins. But for this game against a Cardiff City that are back to struggling again, I've gone for a 3-0 convincing home win.
I've gone 2-0 Cov. Do you remember a couple of weeks back when Cardiff were the most informed team in the division? I remember that.
That's when we were about to play them, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we stopped that form in its tracks. So I've gone 2-0. I'm thinking a Frank Lampard masterclass. I think Cov will probably be a very different beast. Like, if you remember that Derby team, he had a lot of lone players there. Fikayo Tomori. Their Tom Lawrence, who they actually owned, Tammy Abraham. They had informed Jack Marriott. That was a ridiculous team. Harry Wilson, 17 goals from midfield. It was insane. So I think Cov will be a different beast in the second half of the season when Frank Lampard taps up all his old Premier League contacts and gets in all these players. But I think there'll be a new manager bounce here. 2-0 Cov. And on to Norwich versus Luton. This one is sort of a derby, isn't it? It's the East Anglian derby. Well, they're both on Look East, aren't they, mate?
The Look East derby.
It's the Look East derby.
Yeah. Look. Okay. Yeah. Round the corner. I love Norwich as a city. It's where I'm from, and I'll be going to this game. So I'll be enjoying going to Norwich, the place. I won't be enjoying probably 3 p.m. till about 10 to 5, but as a Luton fan, that is. And then I won't be enjoying being mercifully ribbed after it by all of my friends who are from Norwich and season ticket holders. I think they're going to win quite comfortably 3-1. How can you bet against a team that's got Borja signs in it at the moment? The man is a goal machine. Jack Stacey against his old club is scaring me already. Luton away from home's terrible. Yeah, 3-1 Norwich.
I think it's going to be more comfortable. I've gone 4-1 Norwich. I can't look beyond them. Luton away from home, worst team in the division. Let's have a look. What is the away form? I imagine it's absolutely atrocious. Away form.
Bad.
Luton Town, 22nd.
Yeah. We've won one game.
Won 1.
Drawn 1.
Drawn
That's
1.
it.
Lost 6.
I can tell you that.
Scored 5. Absolutely atrocious. 5 goals scored in 8 games. We are atrocious away from home. We don't bother turning up.
Nope.
It's absolutely shambolic. It really is. The only saving grace is Norwich. You know, they've lost once in the last year at home, but at the same time, 1-3, drawn 4 at home this season. But no, I still think Borja signs, he's in form, top scorer in the division, and I think this is going to get ugly.
Yeah, me too. Luckily for me, there's loads of great pubs in Norwich, so I'll be frequenting them before the game just to take the edge off.
And after the game. Don't let us down.
100%.
Yeah. Good stuff. Right, on to Preston North End versus West Brom.
You'll never guess what I'm predicting for this game.
I'm going to guess. Can I guess?
Go on, guess it.
I've gone 1-1, so I'm guessing you're going 1-1.
Correct.
Way!
I don't need to justify this, do I? Surely not.
Draw specialists, the pair of them.
Draw specialists. Yeah. It's got 1-1 written all over it. West Brom love a 1-1 or a 0-0 in their last game. Way to make a draw even more boring by that 0-0 scoreline. Sunderland could count themselves a bit unlucky, a little bit on that one as well, right? But 1-1.
Yeah. On to another easy to predict one. It's Stoke City versus Burnley, and I won't leave you in suspense. I've gone 1-0 Burnley.
Yeah, I've gone 1-1.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've gone 1-1. I don't know. Something makes me think Stoke are going to get something out of the game. They've drawn their last 3, so maybe that they're becoming the new West Brom. Burnley have started to pick up a bit more of the winning ways. I mean, a relatively convincing win at home, but they're obviously playing Stoke away in this game, so home form maybe is the reason for it. Might just be a gut feel for this one. Yeah, 1-1.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, look, I feel Burnley that they're sort of like Scott Parker is just Sean Dyche with fancy hair and well dressed. Not that Sean Dyche isn't well dressed. I can't see past it. I really can't see past just a Burnley 1-0. I know they beat Coventry 2-0, but still I've gone Burnley 1, Stoke 0. On to Swansea, who have impressed me. Swansea versus Portsmouth. Hopefully it won't be lights out.
Oh, yeah, I know. What on earth happened there? We need to put the penny in the meter. I mean, you've got to be gutted for all the fans that went to that game, right? That is atrocious. Did you see the Southampton tweet? That was excellent. I mean, if you didn't see the Southampton tweet, I think they said something about, lights on for the game for Portsmouth, tweeted it, and then Southampton tweeted it the moment they'd postponed the game, the same thing, but then playing the actual game. It was very good. So, yeah, very, very good. Good bit of banter between two actual local rivals. Swansea, like you've impressed me. I've gone 2-0 win for this one. I think it'll be a relatively straightforward one. Pompey with a good result against Preston. But apart from that, their form's still yet to convince me they've turned a corner. So yeah, I've gone for a relatively comfortable 2-0 win.
I've got a bit closer. I know Swansea have, sort of been getting 2s and 3s recently, but I think they're going to revert to the mean, back to scoring 1s. I've gone Swansea 1, Portsmouth 0. I feel bad for Pompey. I do want them to turn a corner, but at the same time, like from a completely non-biased point of view, at the same time, I want them to keep struggling because I need, as Luton fans, we need 3 worse teams than us in the division because I feel that's the only way Luton Town stay up. Bias aside, of course. Right, on to our final one is Derby County versus Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, this one upset me because I was watching the Luton-Leeds game, and then when the Leeds-Luton game finished, it cut straight on Sky Plus to the Derby game against Swansea, who they were losing to 2-1. And I thought, oh, that's what a team who are losing look like when they're trying to fight to get back into a game. Because it just showed everything. Derby were doing everything that Luton weren't in that game, which was, they were very unlucky not to score in the last few minutes. So, yeah, fair play. That's how you do it. So for this one, I think they'll pick up the home win and win 2-1. Sheffield Wednesday, good result against Hull, but all over the place in terms of form still. Yeah, I think Derby will turn the corner on this one at home. So, yeah, 2-1 Derby.
That's the division for you, though. Like, everyone's all over the place. Anyone can beat anyone other than those top teams that just seem to grind out those wins. I've gone for a Desmond. I've gone for a 2-2. And Derby impressed me. They do. But Sheffield Wednesday as well, like Barry Bannon, he's just constantly rolling back the years with that awful hairdo. He looks like Friar Tuck, but he plays like... like a midfield metronome. He's like a sort of middle-aged Xavi. He's ridiculous. He really is. Right, so who's your lock of the week?
Yeah, I think for trying to mix it up a little bit, so I've gone for Borough quite a lot and Sheffield United quite a lot recently. I've gone for Cov to beat Cardiff because I think new manager bounce, particularly there versus Cardiff, who are banging trouble. So yeah, Cov to beat Cardiff 3-0.
Yeah, and I'm going for Norwich 4, Luton 1. I cannot see beyond Norwich absolutely trouncing Luton Town. If Borja Sainz turns up, Luton Town are dead and buried before a ball has been kicked. I just hope Luton Town turn up, but honestly, I can't see it. I feel the players have signed off, so that's the way I see it right now. It's alarming. It's alarming. And what a fall from grace. Right, but... that's us done for this week. And remember, if you're watching this on our YouTube and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. We have lots of championship content. You'll love it. And whoever you support, have a great week, everyone.